My name is Major Ken Chomobi, retired. Now my aim of going public, unlike many military officers, many of us don't go public. My aim is that this is not the Nigeria that made us join the armed forces. I joined the armed forces at the age of 17. I had very high ideals for joining the armed forces. I had better options. I was already in the University of Nigeria, about to do medicine, but I still abandoned it to go to Nigerian Defense Academy. Myself and my generation, we had very high hopes for this country. We know all that happened since the first military coup in Nigeria. We know all that happened about the various crises, ethno-religious crises in Nigeria, but we had hoped that with time it could be curtailed. But it's very amazing that for the past decade, Nigeria has been going from bad to worse. At the rate we are going, if nothing is done on time, I don't think we are going to have a nation to be proud of. The IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, led by Nnamdi Kanu, is not the first group to agitate for Biafra. But what makes IPOB unique is that IPOB, the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, and he's being held, against court orders, is what is making IPOB to be very, very, to be like a bone in the neck of the government. It's like IPOB right now is like the insect that perches on your scrotum, as the old adage says. If you hit it very hard, you stand the risk of smashing your scrotum. And if you leave it, the bite is just unbearable. So my view is that the government should bring IPOB to a table. I don't know any better way. Even if we end up fighting a second civil war, the war is still going to end up on a table. The 10 years of war in Sierra Leone, which Nigerian army took part of, I was in Sierra Leone at a time. The 10 years of war in Liberia ended up on a table. The Nigerian civil war ended up on a table. So I believe the government should find a way to bring IPOB leaders to a table. Let us see how their agitation can remain civil, remain according to the dictates of the rule of law, remain according to the norms of international law and international best practices, like other agitations in Spain, Catalonia, in UK, Scotland, in the US, California. There's so much agitation all over the world for independence. So Nigeria is not a special case. There's no big deal about any part of Nigeria wanting to have an independent country. It's a very sore point, but let me just reveal something, that will make this interview a bit spicy. I have it on good authority by an intelligence chief, whose name I will not mention, that this is not the first time Nnamdi Kanu has been arrested. I'm surprised that there is nowhere in the media I have seen that so far. During the Olusegun Obasanjo government, Nnamdi Kanu was in the net of the security agencies, but because of the way it was handled, I never even saw the headline anywhere. I never even saw the very intelligent senior officer that had direct encounter with him is still alive. He's still alive. He's still very much around. But the way Baba Obasanjo's approach to issues was such that even when Zamfara declared Sharia, which was unexpected, it was unheard of in a secular nation, his approach to the issue made sure that the Sharia issue did not end up leading to a religious conflagration. So I don't know how Chief Obasanjo handled it then, that Nnamdi Kanu was not even published anywhere as having been arrested. And so to say that the agitation is becoming worse under this government, those that say so, you wouldn't blame them, because all through the years of Jonathan, we're not really hearing any violent, loud agitation for Biafra. But what they forget is that Jonathan played a fast one on the agitators. Jonathan appointed the wife of Dimo Odumegwu Ojukwu, that is Bianca Ojukwu, as senior special assistant to the president. And since Odumegwu Ojukwu passed on, the person that is more or less a ceremonial figure for Masob and for Biafra activists, it should be the wife. The wife inherited the full legacy and the full authority of Odumegwu Ojukwu. Now, you can imagine a situation whereby the wife was now attached to the president as a senior special assistant. Why would you wouldn't get any serious upheaval from that organization, because naturally she will step them down. I think that is what is missing in this government. So the moment Jonathan, stepped aside, and then the wife of Odumego Ojukwu was no more having any direct interface with the government, this agitation just sprang up from nowhere. That means all along it has been there. All along it has been suppressed. Chief Obasanjo handled it in a way that was deft. Jonathan literally sat on it. And then it's like when APC came, the lead was removed. There was no interface whatsoever. So the thing just went berserk. Yes. Yes, I'm saying that the Buhari's government gave this agitation fuel and fire. Whichever way other governments in the past handled it, it's not beyond this government. And let me prove it to you. When the Avengers started blowing up places, Buhari's government inherited a situation whereby there had been an amnesty program. And I remember when the militants were appearing on CNN, carrying Browning machine guns, wearing masks. The militants were kidnapping expatriate workers. They were very violent. But President Yar'Adua managed to step it down. President Yar'Adua could have used force. He could have deployed the armed forces. But he saw reason to step it down via the amnesty program. It was unbelievable. The whole world was shocked when Tompolo was brought to the villa and was having a handshake with the president. And he stepped it down. But before the APC government took over, the body language of the APC government was that when we take over, we are not going to allow the sensitive contracts for pipeline protection to remain with criminals. When we take over, we're not going to allow the vital state infrastructure to remain under the protection of miscreants in the name of militants. We're not going to. And when they took over, they began to revoke the contracts of these militants. I think even OPC was involved. Even Frederick Fashion spoke up, because Gani Adams of OPC, he was also a part beneficiary of these contracts. And check the time that the APC government took over and the time the Avengers emerged. Look at the time lapse. The militants gave a short time to see whether there will be an interface, whether there will be some form of bridge. And when there was none, before we know what was happening, Avengers was born. Now, where are the Avengers now? We all know what happened when the Vice President Oshibajo went down to Niger Delta and spoke to Niger Delta elders. Soon after, he was in Imo State also to talk to the Southeast people. And before you know what's happening, Avengers just fizzled out. We're no more hearing bombing of installations. We're no more hearing about destruction of our vital oil infrastructure. How did it happen? Now we are hearing that the APC government is going to return the contracts back to them. So what does that tell you? If Avengers could be handled, if MENT could be handled, and some of them are pilots today, some of them are, I heard some of them even made first class in universities all over the world, I believe that not only IPOB, but Shiites can be handled as well. It's called alternative conflict resolution. I believe, quite frankly, that anything about secret trial of Nnamdi Kanu or his trial under Sharia law, I heard about that, even though I don't take it seriously. I don't think anybody's going to try any Christian under Sharia law, but maybe it's a media hype. I believe that a political solution is the best. I believe Nnamdi Kanu should be brought to a table with IPOB leaders worldwide. I believe they could be brought to a table, and the same VP Oshibajo that went to Avengers and succeeded, and the same way Yar'Adua succeeded with militants, I believe they should be brought to a table, and the government can come to, a kind of an unwritten code, of coexistence between IPOB protesters and the government of the day, so that nobody's peace is disrupted, nobody is killed, and there is no breaking down of law and order anywhere.
Welcome to First View Luxury Hotel. At First View Luxury Hotel, we offer excellent service. Our rooms have all the necessary facilities to make your stay comfortable and memorable. You will also have access to internet service, breakfast, 24-hour power supply, full air condition, free international calls, free tire pumping service, and free car battery charge. So what are you waiting for? Quickly visit First View Luxury Hotel. We are located at number 1 Adelino Bamishile off Raji Rasaki Road, First Estate, Amuwo, Odofin Festac, Lagos. For more information or reservation, please call us on 080-7578-7135 or 080-9990-0601. You can also take advantage of our online ongoing promo at www.firstviewhotel.com to make your reservation and payment for your favorite room, which attracts a discount rate. Please note, rooms are reserved based on first come, first serve. First View Luxury Hotel. Experience the home of comfort. They come.